Let me turn this volume up since it was off for a little bit. All right, guys. So you see the title, "How Body Game Will Change Your Life," guys. So here's the thing: people who say, "Man, body game doesn't matter. It's all about money, man." Like, blah, blah, blah. Like you guys are talking about attracting chicks. I'm not talking about attracting chicks. I'm talking about just fucking self-respect, bro. Self-respect. If you have a big ass stomach, right, you have no self-respect. There is no other way around it. You can't make an excuse. That means you put shit into your body. If you put shit into your body 24/7 and you're eating unhealthy, unhealthy means harmful to health, which means self-harm if you're eating unhealthy, right? Which means you don't love yourself. And anyways, if you got money, right, and you have a decent life and you're like, oh shit, I got money, this is what's up. Then if you don't want to spend that money on medication or potentially a surgery because you're in horrible shape, then get in shape anyways, right? This shit is for you, literally. So you can feel better too. You're gonna feel like you can't feel good at 25% body fat. It's just not fucking happening. You're gonna feel like shit. You're gonna be more sluggish. You're gonna have a lot of mental haze, and you're just gonna feel sluggish. You're like, dude, I slept 8 hours. Why do I feel like this? You're gonna have sleep apnea. You know what I mean? You're gonna go to the doctor. They're gonna be like, yeah, man, you got insulin resistance. You're just gonna feel like shit. People are gonna treat you like shit. Everything's just gonna suck. So that's reason enough to lock in, right? And we all, like I always say, we pick characters in video games that are lean. We see Goku, we want to look like Goku. All right, simple. So you should be working towards that instead of sitting on your ass or making all these dumbass excuses like, oh, I don't have time. Yes, the fuck you do. You watch Netflix, you watch a bunch of shit, right? Like you can't simultaneously be caught up on every show. You watch Love Island, you watch all the football games and shit like that. You can't simultaneously be doing that and say you don't have time. Simple. And you can't simultaneously be overweight and not have time. That means you spend more time than me and everyone who's lean eating. Period. All right. So what is body game exactly? So like it's your social currency, guys. Your physique is your social currency. So, for example, on the left, this is when people were like, "Hey, man, don't ever say you're a fucking trainer again. You're a janitor." I was like, literally, bro. They're like, "You're probably a janitor. Like, don't say you're a trainer again." Like, I was getting disrespected like constantly, right? And a lot of times people will go out of their way to disrespect me, or I'll be walking in the store and girls would literally just look at me like they were just so disgusted. And I'm like, bro, I didn't even say anything or do anything, right? But that's how significant your aura and your body are, right? Versus this, people are asking questions, people are starting conversations all the time. Chicks leaving numbers on my car and shit like that. Like everything is different. Everything is different. More obviously, you're gonna get more respect when you get in shape. It is what it is because you've done something a lot of people can't do. All right. So when your body is working for you, not against you. That's when you're on body game. When your stomach's not hanging out your fucking pants, right? Then you're him. All right. Like it's gonna make a huge difference. Bro, the funny thing is, man, like I remember being skinny and showing up on a date. I remember being fat and showing up on a date. I remember the look like, oh, okay. I remember trying to overcompensate and shit like that and having to really conversate and shit like that versus being him, being him in the last, the last couple of years dating. It's just been like, you know what I mean? Like your body's your currency. So you're gonna walk up with presents, right? And she's gonna know immediately, like, oh, this nigga has value. You know what I mean? She'll be asking you questions. She'll be starting the conversation. Things like that. She'll keep the conversation going because she'll have genuine interest. And you'll finally see what genuine respect and genuine interest like. What genuine respect and genuine interest is from women, but then what genuine respect is from men too. Like your coworkers, your bosses, they're gonna respect you more when you're in shape because they're like, oh shit, like he's saying no to instant gratification consistently. He's saying no to dopamine hits consistently. He's putting his mind to something and following through even when he doesn't feel like it. You know what I mean? And when you look at your coworkers, especially if you work in the medical field, all your coworkers are fat as shit, and their job is pretty hard, right? And they use that as an excuse. And then when they see you, they're like, "Yo, what the fuck are you doing? Are you taking steroids? Like, why are you lean, but we're not? We all work the same job." It's because I don't let that dictate what I chew on. All right. At the end of the day, it comes down to what you chew on. Now, going to the gym, that's cool. Everyone could have 3 hours a week, 4 hours a week where they could go to the gym. All right, no matter what your excuses are, no one's that busy. You're not the president of the United States. All right, the other 100 gajillion hours, there's like 168 hours in a week, something like that. But the other hours of the week is all about nutrition because you eat every day. You might not go to the gym every day. I don't go to the gym every day, but I eat every day, right? So if I eat towards my goals, I'll get to my goals. That's what it comes down to. So a lot of you guys making those dumb excuses like I have family, blah 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 blah. You have a family, and when they go to sleep, you eat Ben and Jerry's. All right. What does that have to do with your family? You're blaming your kid, but you're eating Ben and Jerry's. That's fucked up, bro. That's insane. You're drinking your kid's Capri Sun when he's not looking. That's fucked up. All right. Stop blaming your kids. Now, the importance of good nutrition. So, I had chronic gastritis, like I told you guys. All the doctors were like, "You're cooked. You're gonna have colon cancer by the time you're 25." They were just cooking me. They're like, "Yeah, yeah. you're probably gonna be in, you'll be in a diaper pretty soon. You'll probably have a G-tube pretty soon. Like that's all they were saying. There was no like, oh, do this, do that. No one even gave a fuck. They're like, yeah, you're cooked. I've seen this before. You're cooked. You're out of here. Like they're like, yeah, you'll be lucky to make it past this, past that. I was like, dude, what's up with these prognoses? But anyways, um, that's when I locked in on nutrition and found out that yeah, when you start getting your vitamins and minerals from nutrition, when you lock in on your nutrition, you stop eating all the bullshit like the hot Cheetos, the regular Cheetos. You stop eating all that packaged shit that strips your bodies of nutrients, and you start eating whole foods. More fruits, more veggies. You start eating all that shit, more protein. You can heal that stomach lining. Your gut health will get better. Your energy levels will get better. Nutrition is healing, guys. Nutrition is healing. Now, nutrition is primary prevention for type 2, sleep apnea, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, insulin resistance, all that shit. So if you have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, insulin resistance type 2, it's your nutrition. All right, period. Now, if you don't think it's your nutrition, then you're in denial. That's cute. All right, bye. Truth about body game, guys. So, like I always say, a lean physique is rare. It just is, bro. Like, at the end of the day, it's rare. Like, if it wasn't rare, then when dudes posted thirst traps with lean physique, they would get no comments. No one would give a fuck. However, when you post a thirst trap with a good physique, chicks are gonna be like, what? No, what are they gonna notice first? Are they gonna be like, what the fuck is going on? Like, this dude is dedicated. He's locked in. He has a great physique every single day, bro. Like, first of all, dudes, like most dudes, we don't get compliments in life. Like when I was skinny, when I was fat, no compliments. I pretty much get some kind of compliment every day that I'm lean, like from somewhere, from in real life or from TikTok or from Instagram or something. I'm getting, like compliments every day. The thing is, because when you're lean, it's rare, and what's rare is coveted, you're gonna get that respect. All right, I'm gonna say that again. What's rare is coveted. You're gonna get that respect. All right, that's why when you used to have like Jordans that there was only a few of, people used to be like, oh my god, like those are the snake skins. That's crazy. You got those because they're rare, so they're coveted. All right, if there's only 8 Bugattis made, and you have a Bugatti, people are gonna be like, oh my god, that's rare. Blah blah blah. That's how it really is when you walk around with a lean physique. Now, only people who will deny this are people who have either always been lean and have been around lean people, so they don't really notice, or people who have always been out of shape and are just hating. Because if you go from being out of shape and invisible, right, whether you're skinny or fat, to being in shape, you're gonna be like, why are people nicer to me? Or maybe I'm just noticing more. No, you're not. You're not more self-aware. People are respecting you more. People are treating you differently. You will get treated way differently. Now, obviously, a lot of men will hate on you and shit like that, but some men will ask you questions and respect you, ask you questions in the gym. But yeah, women are gonna notice that shit for sure. All right, period. Now, the reality is most men are never gonna eat this shit in their life. All right, they're never gonna eat steak and sweet potatoes or anything like that. They're just gonna continue to be in the fast food line. All right, the average guy is gonna go through the McDonald's fast food line after work, right? And they're gonna grab their order, put on their stomach, right? Because their stomach can hold the order. And then they're gonna grab their wallet to pay. I think that's how you do it. I don't even fucking know how drive-throughs work. But anyways, that's what the average guy is doing. All right. Put down the cookies, put down the cake, put down the ice cream, all this shit. And like I said, stop blaming your kids. Stop blaming your kids for the shit. Your kids aren't eating Ben and Jerry's. You are. You're drinking your kids Capri Suns. They're not drinking them. All right. You're eating your kids gummies when they're sleeping and shit like that. That's what you're doing. All right. So stop blaming them for that shit. All right. Now, another thing is like when people see that you're lean, they're like, yo, this dude shows up even when he doesn't feel like it. That's what they see. That's what they notice. All right. Only 8% of men have visible six packs in America. A lot of those people are on steroids. A lot of you guys deny that shit because you see the same 1,000 people on Instagram and you're like, yo, there's so many people with abs. Like, what are you talking about, Luther? So many people compete. There are 350 million people in America, bro. And there's like 7 billion people in the world. So when you really break it down, first of all, if you ask like 1,000 people, like, who's the leanest person you saw? Those 1,000 people may name 100 different people, right? That's it. They're gonna name 100 different people because that's what they see on their explore page, or they might have seen them at like an expo, or they might have seen them at a bodybuilding show. They're gonna name the same people, right? Because that's who they're seeing. They're not seeing a bunch of different lean people every day. Like, oh my gosh. Now, if you live in a big city, the population's higher, so you're gonna see more lean people, but you're still gonna see the same percentage. So, for example, if you live in New York City, what is there, like 17 million people? So, if 1% of people are lean, there's gonna be more lean people in New York City than a small city because of the overall population. All right, simple. Now, you're going to have more confidence because I'm going to repeatedly say this. Confidence comes from keeping commitments to yourself. So everybody that says, nah, man, this is the last time I'm beating my meat. Nah, man, this is the last time I'm eating like shit. And you keep eating like shit and you keep beating your meat, you're going to lack confidence because you're not doing what you said you're gonna do. All right. When you say you're gonna do some shit and you follow through, that gives you confidence. When you make it through a lot of situations, when you're like, yo, I'm gonna get lean no matter what, and you go through some fucking hell, you go through a breakup, you go through a car crash, you got to pay out of pocket. Now you're in even more debt. You're dealing with all this shit, but you're still controlling what you can. You're still getting lean. You're gonna get a lot of confidence because when you get to the other side of that, you're out of debt. The breakup's over. Now you're gonna have the physique that you want and that you said you would build, and now your money's gonna be straight, and now your dating options are gonna be even better. All right, that's gonna increase your self belief and your self confidence. Period. So you got to remember that your body is a manifestation of your habits. So if you have bad habits, like that's what I always say. Like a lot of people in the comments will say shit, and it's like you don't have a profile picture, but you probably have a big stomach, which means your habits are shit. You just cannot you can't be out of shape. You can't have a big stomach without hard work in the wrong direction. You just can't. You have to be extremely consistently eating shit, consistently ignoring how you feel because you're gonna feel like shit, and consistently skipping the gym. That is how you get out of shape. It's very, very, don't get me wrong. It's extremely difficult to get out of shape. It is very difficult, right? You have to eat a lot of shit. You just do. All right. Now it's difficult to be in shape too. It's pretty much the same difficulty. All right. The only thing is like your life is going to improve when you're in shape, and when you're out of shape, you just feel worse every day, right? But you eat a lot of shit consistently, even when you don't feel like you eat a lot of shit. That's the only way to maintain a big ass stomach, guys. Now, obviously, dating, like the thing is, people are going to deny this. Now, if you don't have homeboys who are on body game, if you haven't dated at least 200 chicks from like different races and stuff like that, I'm just not gonna listen to you because realistically, I know a lot of people say, "Oh, muscles don't help you get chicks." Bro, like I said, all my homeboys are in shape. My brothers are in shape. I've never heard one of them be like, "Man, I can't pull chicks." I only hear out of shape motherfuckers say that shit. To be honest, because when you see a lean physique, right, a chick is gonna be attracted to it. It's gonna symbolize lean. It's gonna symbolize leanness, obviously health, protection, all that shit, but also the shoulder to waist ratio is the most attractive thing to women. Now this is genuine desire. This is not the pay for play shit or whatever. This is like genuine desire. All right, the dad bod shit. That's obviously a fucking lie. I know a lot of people fell for that. But you got to start looking at how like women respond, not what they say. A lot of you guys are chronically online and you listen to what women say and you write it down and you follow that shit. So you bring flowers to the first date and wonder why you get ghosted. Watch what gets results versus what doesn't. All right. Just look at Stefan Diggs having like a gajillion baby mamas because he's on body game and he has aura obviously and he's confident. All those things combined. All right. Now I'm not saying have 7 baby mamas. I'm just saying look at female behavior and what they gravitate towards. All right, so obviously social hierarchy among men. Listen, here's the thing, bro. Like when you get in shape, interestingly enough, I've met a lot of like rich motherfuckers, and a lot of my in shape friends met some rich motherfuckers too, and they like actually respect you. And I'm like, bro, like my money's nowhere near where theirs is. I mean, they're older, but still, but they still respect you because they see that you have discipline and you're consistent, right? And yeah, no one's gonna respect the out of shape leader. Like if you're a trainer and you're 30% body fat, hopefully you're getting people from 50 to 30 and not trying to get people from 20 to 10 because you've never been at 10 and you're not at 10. All right. Life is very different when you are leaner, right? You have to have different habits, a different mindset. So you can't be in a 30% body fat mindset telling 10% people what to do. It's just not gonna work for you. You're not gonna know what to do. They'll be like, dang, bro, like I feel kind of tired today. Like, what do I do? You're gonna be like, just keep eating what you're eating. Versus like if you're 10% and someone's like, yo, I've been on this cup for 3 months, but I'm feeling kind of tired. You're gonna be like, all right, bet. Let's give you a maintenance week. Let's give you a refeed. Weekend. Let's give you this. Let's give you that. You'll know what to do. All right, career power. Now, promotions and shit like that. As far as like nursing specifically, like if there was multiple people going for a job or whatever, or every time I did agency and my contract was up, I would always be hired with 5 other nurses or 3 other nurses or 10 other nurses, depending on how big the facility was, and they would always ask me first, like, hey, before we ask anybody else, we wanted to ask like, did you want to stay on the patients really like you, blah 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 blah. Because listen, the patients see an in shape person, they take you seriously too, like. Because when I would tell patients stuff, they'll be like, "Oh, this motherfucker's in shape. He actually follows what he does." But they respected me more, and they would call me doctor and shit like that, right? So yeah, definitely, just the discipline you get from the journey as well. But your presentation is so important too. Like when you wear a button down or even scrubs and you're in shape versus being out of shape in scrubs or out of shape in a button down, it just looks wrong. Like I remember like when like an out of shape dude would wear like scrubs. Like there was one, yeah, Anyways, out of shape dude would wear scrubs and it would just look wrong. You're just like, something doesn't look right. And then, you're in shape and you're wearing scrubs. And people are like, you look good in your scrubs. I don't know what it is. That's a good brand of scrubs. And it's like, it's the same brand everyone else has. It's just how you fit it. You see what I'm saying? You're going to have more confidence, obviously, because you confide in yourself. Public speaking, negotiations, all that shit will be better as well. All right, period. Now, like I said earlier with this mental health shit, exercise is going to fight depression, but when you're overweight, you're in a constant state of inflammation, so it's going to be easier to be sluggish and depressed, right? You're just going to be more sedentary as well. Being lean is going to lower anxiety as well. It's going to increase your self-worth and your self-respect, right? Like a lot of you guys have never experienced like looking in the mirror and seeing that progress, like, oh shit, is that an ab vein? Oh shit, is that a shoulder vein? Or just like actually getting to where you said you would get to. Like a lot of you guys haven't experienced that, which is why you haven't experienced like real confidence, which is why you guys have a hard time understanding all of the shit. Like you guys are like, is this real? Like, is it? Yes, it's real. When you lock in, do what you need to do, you start seeing results, you start seeing that progress that you always said you would get, life changes. Like your waist gets smaller for the first time, you're wearing a size 30 for the first time or a size 32 for the first time, you're going to have confidence. Discipline transfer. Tracking macros is honestly, this is the best one, not gonna lie. Tracking macros is like financial tracking. When I was in a deficit, that's when I got out of the 80K of debt, right? Because I was like, you know what? Let me pay this shit off. Let me track these expenses. Let me not overspend, which is like overeating. Let me not ignore writing this shit down. Let me write down everything that I'm spending on. Let me budget. Let me be serious about this. Discipline is going to be career consistency. Delayed gratification is going to lead to life success. Listen, anything worth having is going to take patience. It's going to take delaying gratification. Period. That's why most people aren't lean in the first fucking place because they can't delay gratification. Identity theft, my favorite. Now, here's the thing. When you're out of shape, when I was out of shape, I would make excuses. I would blame it on other shit. I'd be like, yeah, man, life's just too hard. I don't have, I like don't have the time. You know what I mean? Like, as soon as someone out of shape, you ask them like, hey, man, what's your goals? And they tell you their goals. They always follow it up with excuses like, oh yeah, I just don't have time. I'm working so much and I don't know, man, like blah 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 and all that stuff, right? But you're gonna be ashamed of yourself because you're not keeping commitments to yourself. Versus when you're lean, you're a leader, people follow you, you're strong, you're controlled. All right, that simple. When you change your body, you change your mind. All right, simple. Now, obviously, your dating life is gonna be way different. Obviously, if you're doing like online dating, which is very, very, very opinion based, then I mean appearance based, then you're gonna be woman's first option in a lot of times. But also when you go out somewhere, and if there's a bunch of people at the bar and you guys are all wearing, let's just say you guys are all wearing the same thing, you fit it the best because you have the best shoulder waist ratio. I mean, you're gonna at least get the door open first. Now, are you like the conversation, all that other stuff is gonna matter too, but women will be more receptive when they have genuine interest in you. If you're out of shape and you have a big stomach and you're going up to a chick, I mean, you're literally if you don't have the number one mouthpiece in the world, like you have to be number one. You can't be number two. If you don't have the number one mouthpiece in the world, she's not gonna be interested because you're going to have to bypass genuine attraction and just like try to spit your game, you know, to get your way in there, right? But still, like I said, a chick isn't gonna be like, oh my gosh, the way your mouthpiece is piecing. Like, unless you're in shape and then it goes together, you know what I mean? But if you're out of shape and you're just, you're sloppy and you got mouthpiece, you'll be like, well, he paid for this and that. I guess I'll give him some pity sex, like that kind of thing. You see what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying you're gonna be attracted to every single chick on earth, obviously. But if you were pulling zero chicks, like I used to pull negative three chicks, right? Which means ugly chicks are going out their way to say they would never fuck with me. That's what negative three chicks means. So I was pulling negative three chicks. So by the time I got to one, because I got on Bodygame, that was already that was a +4 difference. That's ridiculous if you really think about it. That's an insane increase. So by that point, I was like, yo, life has changed. Life has changed. And then after that, just thousands and thousands of different chicks hit me up and shit like that. But yeah, this is how most conversations are gonna look. They're gonna message you first, hey, hi. Girls they don't have game. They just say hi or hey, or they're like, oh my god, you're so hot. Are you real? That's like the only fucking shit they say. But they're gonna be messaging you first, which means they have genuine interest. You're not gonna be chasing. Simple. All right. Now here's why most men are not going to, all right, attain body game ever. They're just not going to. They've been watching these videos for years. Maybe some people have been watching getting lean videos for 10, 15 years and they haven't done shit. But that's just the reality. All right, because starting is hard, but the entire process is pretty monotonous. You're losing 1 to 2% body fat per month. All right, which sounds like absolutely nothing. If you're 25% and you lose 2% per month, it'll take you 6 months to get down to the 10 to 13 range, right? So that sounds like, for most people, they're like, oh, it's too long, but in reality, it took you 6 to 10 years to gain that shit. Now, because of instant gratification, all the other shit that's going on, most people want those overnight results. That's another issue that they have. I just want to let you guys know one more time. Remember, it took you years and years and years to put the 50 to 100 pounds on. So giving yourself, 6 months to lose 50, or giving yourself 1 year to lose 50 to 100 is very, very, if you think about it, is a very short period of time. All right. So you don't lack patience, you lack perspective. All right. Now, link is in the description for coaching, one-on-one coaching if you're serious. There's programs in the description. Listen, if you do a program and you don't get lean, it's because you're not doing the program. It's that simple. All right. If you can find a way to not get lean doing the program, let me know, because you have a skill that nobody else has. Right.